Hey friends, how you doing today? Coming at you with an episode of just my take of what has happened with the UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. And so by no means am I an expert in aviation. I have lived in Louisville for approximately 25 years, and I know the area well. And so I'm just going to kind of map everything out and kind of talk about what I think might have happened. Um, One thing that I'd like to discuss is kind of like when a crisis happens, what kind of news are you watching? Okay. And so the hippies used to say, think global, act local. Well, there's a lot of wisdom in that, right? Well, I think this also may apply when it comes to the looking at disasters or news when things are happening. So I went to my local news site. I was outside playing with my son. We were smashing pumpkins and I'm having fun with old pumpkins. And then we started to see this really dark black smoke cloud. Um, and it was really low. And I told my son, I'm like, hey, hurry up and get back inside. We don't need to be breathing this. I thought there was a house on fire in my neighborhood. And so I guess I'll tell you about my neighborhood and we'll describe Louisville in general. So here's the city of Louisville. 700,000 ish people here. And so down the middle, I'm sorry, my cursor's not very big, we have I 65. And then we have what is called the Gene Snyder. Gene Snyder comes up through this way and goes through southern Indiana. Um, then we have this little loop right here is the Waterson Expressway. And then we have 64, which goes here, takes you all the way to Myrtle Beach or Virginia Beach, one of the two. And then we have 71, takes you up through Cincinnati. And so that's kind of like Louisville in the whole, as a whole. So I'm going to zoom in real close, and this is Louisville International Airport. They recently renamed it Muhammad Ali Airport. Let's just talk about kind of what's around it. If you go to the west, that would be in this direction. Up will be north. You can see that we have lots of residential areas. We have Iroquois Park. If we go to the north, we have Kentucky Kingdom, the Fair and Exposition Center. Got some restaurants, a string of hotels. We have University of Louisville Football Stadium. Here's Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is. Then we have the University of Louisville, north of it. And a little bit further north in this green, more green area, this is Old Louisville. I think it's the largest Victorian district in North America, something like that. That's my neighborhood. And if you go just a little bit further north, you're like in downtown Louisville. All right. So we'll scroll back down. And if you go east, we have more residential neighborhoods. This area right here, I think the airport bought it out. It was just like so noisy or whatever years ago. Um, Directly below the airport, what we have is Ford Assembly Plant. It's right here. Okay. This runway, this runway right here. Try to move my cursor slow. The western runway going south is where the airplane in question was attempting to take off and crash. I believe that this is a fuel storage area. I am not confident and I don't know, but that does appear, just seeing all those large cylinders and tanks. This will be relevant in a little bit. Directly south of the runway, you can see there's a road. As we zoom in even more, you can see there's a railroad that goes by. It appears to be some kind of almost even dirt road. I don't even know. Some kind of access road. There is a drainage ditch. And then below it, we have the UPS Supply Chain Solutions building, which that's going to be important in a moment. A couple of things. There are some videos where you're going to see some concrete barriers. It was airborne. You see it took off. There was a point where it had its left engine was on fire. Since authorities have said that the engine eventually fell off, but there was a gigantic explosion. I am not a pilot. I'm just piecing things together because I want to understand and know things in my community. And so it does clear, it appears to clear a concrete barrier. I believe the concrete barrier is this one where you see this hand, right? That's right by this road. I think it's that concrete barrier. Possibly, I don't know. There could be one here that I'm not able to see through a satellite because there are obviously obstacles. There's some sort of barrier here, like some kind of like some sort of signage that's important for and lights that's important for taking off and landing. I'm assuming. All right, so that's something that we need to think about. All right. Further south, I'm not sure what this barren area is. Just don't know what that is. I do know that the area south of this, where we see all of the scarred landscape, let's wait for this pixelation to go away. The scarred landscape is the dump. This is the local landfill. Like you are going to smell it when you are driving past it on I-65. And so I-65, the Interstate 65, is this main road that's going north and south. I'm lucky. Like I was 15 minutes away. Like 15 minutes ago, I was driving up past this, or shall I say, 15 minutes prior to the plane crash. And so you can see that 65 comes all the way up here, comes up through there, and goes north. All right. So kind of a long introduction. So let's talk about kind of what actually happened here. I'm going to pull a video over and we'll watch the video. I'm going to try to mute all the video. Let's see. Please bear with me. All right. So yeah, this is a plane crash. People lost their lives. This is tragic. If you can't handle this, please don't watch it. This is just for us to kind of understand and analyze what happened and how it affected the community, because these are places that I go. All right, so somebody is on some sort of road that is parallel to the crash, or to the landing strip where it's taken off. You can see that there is fire. It appears at this point it is off the ground. Okay, so it's off the ground. There is a tree line right here. It will look like it clears the tree line, and you'll see it tip to the left and fall. Okay, there's going to be so it's above the ground. It appeared, it just went off screen, but there was like a concrete barrier it appeared to go over. And now, so here's the explosion right here. There's some sort of barrier that it's above. It went over the tree line, and that was the tree line that I was showing you. There were railroad tracks, some sort of access road, and a drainage ditch. And behind it, there's this tragic explosion. Now, if you remember, right below that, there was a warehouse. Okay, so uh, so gigantic, and you saw the plane kind of tumble to the left right there, and it's continuing to go down. Somebody said on a comment, it looks like they were trying to dump fuel because I've seen these planes take off and land hundreds of times just living in Louisville and just seeing it. It's not hard to see this just driving down I-65. Um, that thing should have been much higher off the ground. And so somebody said it was dumping fuel. I don't know. Just somebody talking on the internet, right? Everybody's acting like they're an expert, just like I am. All right. So that's the explosion. Very terrible. All right. So we're going to get rid of this. And I'm going to show you another explosion. This one is really drastic. This one reminded me of a war zone. Well, I guess we'll zoom in on this real quick. So we saw it taken off. I think that this is the barrier that it went over, and then after the tree line. Now I'm not sure of the full topography of this. Obviously, the water is the low area, but we have a few tree lines here. When it fell down, what did end up happening? Let me see if I can. So this warehouse was struck. Let me see if I can find the path. So I have a lot of things right here. I'm trying to. Um, yeah. All right. So if you look at some of the images that are in the news, this area that I highlighted in yellow, there's like a hole ripped through it. Um, God bless the people that were in there. I don't know. There are fatalities, about a dozen fatalities. It said even a child was killed that they have announced, and they're expecting that number to go up. There's like 9 or 10 or 15 people still unaccounted for. And so there's where the warehouse was struck. This is the concrete barrier that I think it cleared. Um, I think it exploded right here, somewhere right here, and then it tumbled, and we saw it go in. And it looks like a slice that went all the way through here. I don't know if a wing cut into it, but that's not where the explosion point was. And so let's just look at another video right here. This one's, you can see that it's off the ground, and there's a beginning of some sort of fire. And so let's see what's going on here. All right. Try to zoom out a little bit on that. We'll watch it again because now that's showing up. All right. All right, start all over. This looks like a bomb dropped at a war zone. This is terrible. All right, and you can see that it was tilted over. There are other close-ups that the thing was like tall as a building, fire in the sky. See if I can. You can see the wing is up here, and so terrible. It is not hard to find footage of this. What's online? All right, and a couple of things. I'll show you the video. This is from my favorite news site when it comes to anything that's aerial photography. These guys have it. WLKY for Louisville, Kentucky. So if you need a helicopter, these are the guys who are in the air. And I watched this video right here. Actually, pop this over here. and see if I can pop this player out. And so I used this video right here at the bottom to try to determine where are all these locations that we're looking at. Okay, so I'm just going to start mapping some things out. Let's get rid of that path. All right, so a couple of things to think about. There is an, let me find this. There is a petroleum recycling facility here. They're calling it GFL Environmental here. You can see all of these tanks right here. I've drove past it before and it looked as if they were like doing some sort of distillation, like maybe they were distilling all the products from used motor oil. I heard on the news that they were also doing antifreeze and coolant and stuff, which you don't want to be breathing that stuff in. We know that's poisonous. You can see on the video, if you look at the video at the bottom, so we have these two long cylinders right here, and you can watch through some of the news that they were trying to keep those cool. The ones that are black right here, right beside that red roof, they were gone, and I think a large part of it is why we see really dark black smoke. And so as we look at this image right here, different color smoke, all right? If you look to the left, it's very dark black, right? A different color smoke means a different kind of fire, right? Different things are burning. As you get over to the right and the bottom where we have like these little gray lines here and gray lines here, I think those are structures that are on fire. Over here, there's some cars on fire. It might be like some tires and stuff like this, but you can see how to the left it is dark. I think, I don't know, that was petroleum in terms of like petroleum recycling. I'm sure there was probably jet fuel all over the place around here. But, it's pretty dramatic if you watch it, and you can fast forward it. They go all around and kind of get a 360 view from what's going on. You can see that, actually I'm going to go back again. You can see where the first responders are. Yeah, sorry for all the jumpiness. Those are the tanks you see right here, those white tanks. And where the fire is that's where those recycling petroleum, whether it was distillation columns, whether they were just storage tanks, I don't know. That's where those were. Go ahead and get rid of that. And so I'm going to put some overlays right here. You can see right above it, there is an electrical substation of some sort that is probably powering airport and the Ford factory. And we'll see, let's just go ahead and get the, all right, this is the approximate area of the fire. Those white cylinders weren't on fire, but I was just trying to use Google Earth, and it was the best I could do. And so we have a few places. So the Kentucky truck parts, part of that was all these cars right here. These are salvage areas where you can go and you pull a part off a car, and there's grade A recycling where they have auto parts there also. And so you can see that this is a very industrial area. Of all the places that this could have happened, this was the best place because it didn't hit the residential neighborhoods. It didn't hit the exposition center. It did not hit the amusement park. I wish it didn't happen at all, but that's kind of the situation we're in. And so we can see that there's a lot of trucks and auto parts areas. Very lucky there is there's a bar that people hang out at called Stooge's Bar. Everybody was safe reportedly from there. So that's good. And let's just kind of, there's a petroleum recycling place. I pointed that out. Did notice there was a lot of first responders around this area. And I'm thinking that they were just hitting the base of the fire, where most of the fire is concentrated, I think, around that petroleum recycling. Also, we had some secondary first responders right here. I think they were hitting it from another angle. But I also and I'm starting to wonder, because the UPS warehouse that was struck, I'm assuming that there's going to be people in need there that might need some medical attention. And so this could have been a good staging area for getting people in and out of that area and trying to move them down this road right here, which I think is Grade Lane. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, guys. It's not a fun experience, but that's what happened, guys. It's very tragic, and let's see if I can get rid of that concrete barrier. Planes coming over here. It lifted off the ground. They're now saying that the engine fell off the wing. It fell down. It tumbled, and as it tumbled, it makes sense. It went down and it was to the left, because that's where it was, like the engine was failing over there, whatever was happening. It tumbled down here and then crashed the majority of the jet fuel or this petroleum recycling place. Just all that fuel and liquid and all that stuff just burned here. That was ground zero. And let's see, if you're interested in knowing how large of an area this is, we'll take a measurement in miles. For the area of the fire, we'll start right here at the plant, all the way down to about right here. That was about 0.33 miles, so about a third of a mile of fire is what was going on in that place. Well, guys, that's kind of how I came to terms with what was going on. It kind of made me start thinking about the event of emergencies, about the air quality. When this happened, obviously all the windows are shut, turn off the HVAC. Some residents, mostly around the area of the fire, they had to turn off their water, and they used a lot of foam fire suppressant, at least they said in the news. That stuff's got a lot of nasty chemicals, polyfluorinated alkaline substances, PFAS. Some places were without power. And got lucky. What would I have done if that smoke was really low to the ground and like it was bathing my house? It was pretty far above. Oh yeah, there's another image I would like to show you. Let's see if I can find it. And it is, this was so bad you could see it on the Doppler radar. The Doppler radar was like showing as if it were a huge plume of smoke. Here's here's an image right here. Somebody had put up a drone. Thank you, Larry Vinson. And you can see how it was very black and very dark. People 50 miles away were reporting that they could smell it up in Salem, Indiana, which is higher in elevation as you go north up through Indiana. There lots of videos, lots of pictures, but life is precious and every moment needs to be appreciated. So that's, I guess that about wraps up the video. Thanks for watching if you listen to me yak that long. But I will say there was a 5 mile radius all the way at one point, all the way from the airport to the Ohio River, was under a shelter in place because of the air quality. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found something useful out of this. This is just kind of how I kind of analyzed what was going on and came to terms with what happened, because I could not sleep last night. I'm just kind of wondering what kind of chemicals were in the air, and with the change of directions kind of come in and go through the cracks of my house. I don't know. The things we think of sometimes. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got some value out of this. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.